Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Fintech Combine. I am your host, Kris Kovacs, and this is the series where we talk with and sometimes about community-based institutions, their digital and business transformation projects, and we meet the innovators, entrepreneurs, and fintechs that make it all possible. On this episode, we're speaking with Deep Varma, the CTO at Alkami, about how they are continuing to innovate and drive toward an AI-powered future. So if you're ready, let's suit up and get out on the field. Deep, I'm so excited to have you on the show today. Thank you very much for joining us. Why don't you start by telling us a little bit about yourself and about your role with Alkami?
Sure. So my role at Alkami, I'm a chief technology officer. If you ask me, Deep, who are you? I'm a technologist by DNA and who solves the business problems using the technology. I'm based out of Silicon Valley, almost for over 30 years here. And I have done, from writing Java compilers to IoT to Yahoo, glory days of Yahoo, and my own startups and Zillow and Varo Bank and Alchemy. And I'm a leader who always looks into balancing the needs of both the places, that how do companies continue to grow their revenue and meet the customer needs, but at the same time we continue to scale the platform, continue to grow the business, because you don't want to compromise in one or other. You want to scale both the sides of the business. So in nutshell, that's what I do.
That's awesome. You had quite an amazing journey. If you ever want to see a really great resume, you should check out Deep's. But tell me a little bit about how your journey has informed how you approach innovation in your projects.
Yeah, I think there are one lesson I have learned early on from my days at IBM. What I learned is innovation should not be treated something as the second class citizen. It should be treated as the first class citizen. That's the one. uh, you know and let me explain what I mean by that. Whenever innovation to me is the different way of thinking, is challenging the status quo. Can you solve the problem in a different way? Okay, so that's the way I consider the innovation. I remember when I was at IBM, the SOAP protocols and the WSDLs in mid 90s were coming, and Chris, I'm sure heard that.
Yep.
And when we were working the WSDLs, and you need to build XML schemas and all those things, right? And while we were building the XML schemas, someone came up with this: oh, have you thought about the web service discovery locator? And we can use XML namespace. So to me, it was nothing crazy, but it was an innovative idea. So what have shaped my strategy over the years, you need to always give engineers and the development teams space and time to think differently. Because on a day to day basis, I have my agile dashboard, I have my sprint, I have this, I need to build this feature. I just keep on doing what I'm doing. And that is what I call is it becomes sometimes a factory engine.
Mhm.
Sometimes you need to put a little break and say, hey, it's time to oil your machinery. And what I call this hackathons. So
Mhm.
what I continue to do is, whether I'm at Alchemy, wherever I go, I always encourage to do hackathons. And what I have
Mhm.
seen, Chris, hackathons generate the discretionary energy when the diverse set of the people come together without any constraints given to them,
Mhm.
and they solve the problem in 24 hours, sometimes that we don't solve in 7 weeks.
That's
So
right.
to me, give everyone space and time for them to do things differently, and treat innovation as the first class citizen rather than the second class citizen.
Mm. That is a great lesson. Do you do hackathons with your customers or just your employees?
You, I'm so glad. I don't know whether you've been sniffing on our Google to see what we are doing, but who knows, Chris? Um, So we did our first hackathon. I joined Alchemy in 2023. We did our first hackathon internally.
Hmm.
Then in 2024, we do yearly event, what we call as a collab, where we bring our customers together. In 2024, we did hackathon in collab with our customers,
Hmm.
and it was so massively successful. In 2025, we did invited our financial institutions developers to Alchemy's office in Dallas, and we did that, and there were close to 33 financial institutions joined us doing that. And the good news is 2026 we are doing it with them again in our Dallas office. So what I realized is code development with the ecosystem where you live is also the part of the innovation. So now
Hmm.
we do it with our customers together.
With that much ideation that's happening, how do you prioritize what comes next for your team as you're building things into the platform?
Yeah, I think I split this into two pieces. One is, can my platform continue to scale as the product usage is growing?
Hmm.
So, for example, you are using database for the queuing system. Should you move into the Kafka or Kinesis, the platforms and all those things? So I call them as scalable platform technologies. But then these shiny things needs to align with what are the customers are asking for it, the customer needs, right? So I'll give you a specific example. So we have our customers, when they when they move the money, the files get generated, and when the files get generated, we need to move those files into the different places. And what we started seeing, as our scale is growing and growing, there are times those file processing are failing.
Hmm.
And then we said, oh, it is not the file processing failing because our system is bad, but we are now in a different scale, right?
So much
So
bigger.
when you are in a different scale, there is a business need that these files needs to get processed because it's people's money.
Hmm.
But now you need to think about, are you going to use the streaming platforms like Kafka, Kinesis, or SQS to do that?
Hmm.
So what happened most of the time, I tend to align with the platform capabilities, with the product capabilities, to make sure that we always deliver the value. So prioritization wise, sometimes you need to prioritize a little bit platform work, a little bit upfront before the product.
Hmm.
But mostly, I think the prioritization is what market needs, what customer wants, can we scale, can we deliver reliably and the quality, and then you make those prioritization decisions.
Mm. What do you think community institutions aren't paying attention to from a digital perspective today that they ought to be?
Yeah, I think the way this space is moving so fast, and I'm seeing a great momentum building up. The open platform mindset. That's what I'm seeing, and I'll give you a specific example. Um, it is still very tough for individuals to change their digital banking, go
Hmm.
from A to B to C, because there are a lot of friction points.
Yeah.
Okay, so my KYC has to be done again and again, right? I'm the same Deep Varma. My social
Hmm.
security is same. My score is same. But wherever I go, my KYC is again happening. So the digital identity
Mm.
and the KYC, I feel what you're going to see over the period of time, I'm going to carry my digital identity with me. And when I go and work, I will just show and they will immediately that's going to happen. So I call this as a digital portability, how
Mm.
I can port, right? Because today friction is, Chris, you have your bill pay set up at one place. No, man, I don't want to change my bank because I have to change my bill pay, and that's a painful process. So what institution needs to see, consumers are on the driving seat, and
Hmm.
we need to think about giving the more control to them. So that's the one area where I see. Other area I'm seeing is innovation is happening at such a faster speed at this moment of time. Every couple of months, the new fintech popping up. I can do better than this. I can
Right.
do better than this. And I think having a platform like, and again, I'm selling Alchemy a little bit here,
Hmm.
because,
Please.
integration point of the third parties.
Yeah.
How do I enable financial institutions to do experimentation with those fintechs very fast to decide, is it good for me? Is it bad for me? If
Hmm.
someone comes and says, I can approve your application in 5 minutes, they want to test it. But the only way they can test it when it is the digital banking. But
Hmm.
if I make it easier for them to test it, and this is what Alchemy thrives, where we make it easier for you to integrate those things. So I will say keeping up with the innovation, thinking about the consumer,
Hmm.
but then the third one, which everyone talking about, how AI is going to change my world. Man, wherever I go, just I feel like, is it is it the unemployment rate in one day is going to be 90%? I don't know. Right?
Yeah.
Everyone the way. But what
That's
I'm
a
trying
whole
to
other
say,
episode we can talk
that's
about,
a
Deep.
whole, but I think is how AI is going to help in my back office, my
Hmm.
front office, my mid office,
Yeah.
because there is so much of efficiency gains what Chris we can achieve in our processes and systems. So I will say definitely keep a very close eye onto that,
Hmm.
but stay within the regulatory framework, because the challenge is AI is moving so fast, and being we are still regulated, we just can't cross that line. So
Right.
within the regulated framework, try the different things on the AI, because there are many advantages coming on that way.
I'm going to double click on your digital identification. Do you think the institutions should be the issuers of those digital credentials, or do you think someone like Alchemy should, or potentially a third party in the marketplace?
Yeah, so I think there is no incentive for me as a single financial institution to create the digital, like, because there is what value to me,
Hmm.
but I should be in a position to consume that digital identity. Oh,
Hmm.
I have Chris coming to me, so I should. So I think there is has to be some platform play, some fintech play, or something which creates a token or digital identity and all those things.
Hmm.
And Deep carries on his mobile device, and I go to a bank, and
Hmm.
the teller is there. Hey, I want to open an account with you. Sure. Here is my digital identity. They take it. It is like, two friends meet and connect the phone, and my contact information come to you.
Right.
So my digital identity go. You have all my KYC and everything there. I don't need to fill the data,
Right.
because unfortunately 99.99% of the time my social security never changes. So you get this information, and I'm standing there, and I'm done. I don't need to
Yeah.
refill things. So I think it has to be the platform play in the middle, someone like that.
Yeah, that really is the thing that just stands in the way of a consumer being able to create a new financial relationship, right? It's the hassle, right? Having to go
It's a
through
hassle.
that.
Yeah.
So you said it first. You said AI before I did. You win the prize. Tell me a little bit about how you guys are using AI at Alchemy.
Yeah, I think our thought process is similar to the others thought process. One is, what are we doing to help support regional community financial institutions?
Hmm.
That's the one. But then how we are using it internally, because
Hmm.
you just can't do one and ignore other. So I think, let me start what we are doing, from the supporting our regional community financial institution. Recently, we during our collab, we launched what we call as a digital servicing, a service and sales platform, DSSP, what we call.
Hmm.
This is, we acquired Mental almost 1 year back, which is our digital account opening. So when we look into is we think of this flywheel of grow, engage, and that's the whole circle what we look into. So mental gives financial institutions the top of the funnel, go and acquire new customers.
Mm-hmm.
Then digital banking gives this servicing layer, what we call, because now you come to your digital banking, and then our marketing data and marketing, which gives the engagement side. Now
Mm-hmm.
I know about Chris you, and I can engage you more. So
Mm-hmm.
what we see from the unified platform, that's what we are focused on DSSP. AI is when people are submitting their applications, AI plays a role in application, knowing about this. But then also we are thinking about our bank assistant when I'm logging in, what kind of the account do I need? What kind of the application should I fill? What we do. So I think we definitely thinking from that angle, how do we support? Then there is also, when you see from the customers or the consumers point of view, when they log into the digital servicing, where is my this tax return, when is my refund coming, why this transaction is showing up like that. I think that's another area where we think AI can play an instrumental role there.
Mm-hmm.
We also believe there is a innovation in the AI play on the data consumption. If you look into the old days of the back offices are having canned reports. Here is my dashboard, what is my growth looking like, and all those things. With the AI, you can have the MCP servers and you can have a cloud conversation on top of it
Mm-hmm.
to have a dialogue with the data and say,
Mm-hmm.
what is my growth looks like, what is happening, right? So that's another area of innovation that what we are doing research on. And then we touched a little bit earlier that many of our financial institutions, they embrace our platform, and then we enable them to extend our platform using
Mm-hmm.
our extensibility functionality. Like for example, we have SDK. You
Mm-hmm.
can take our SDK. Recently we have been doing a research with one of the project called Alchemy Code Studio, which
Mm-hmm.
is, can we empower financial institutions where it is like Claude, it can generate a code for them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a research project that what we have done. So that's how we are thinking
Okay.
from the financial institutions point of view. But then we think internally, you know, how do we support our customers better? When customers are calling us, AI can get to the answers much faster. If so we are investing in those areas.
Mm-hmm.
um, we are definitely across our organization, marketing, and everywhere we are using. But where I'm seeing the biggest transformation that I'm driving is in the software development.
Mm.
And when we think about the software development, Chris, there are four areas which are helping us shape. One, can I develop new code faster? Second, I have the existing legacy code. Can I make easier for my engineers to understand the legacy code?
Mm-hmm.
The third one, can I use AI to fix my bugs and the security vulnerabilities faster? And the fourth, can I lean on AI to do my testing much faster?
Mm-hmm.
So we are spending time looking into those four buckets. But then we are also looking into, when I make major releases to our financial institutions, can LLM models predict the system problem before someone knows? I just deployed the new code. LLM
Mm-hmm.
can say there is something wrong, right? So I think that is where the excitement is bubbling up more. Is And we had the data point at this time. We've been using uh, AI technologies. I'm not going to sell whether open AI or Claude, because then they will think Deep is selling their technologies. But we are using all the known AI technologies here at
Right.
Alchemy. And Chris, we are seeing an amazing benefits out of that. And I will say last 6 7 months has been the transformational. I was
Mm-hmm.
just coming out of a meeting. Someone said this work is going to take me 60 story points. Story points is in the software development, I'm sure you understand.
Yep.
And using the AI, that individual was able to wrap up that in 20 story points.
Yeah.
So that's the power what we are bringing it to the table.
Is that changing your perceived roles and how you're structuring and thinking about your IT team
Yes. So
or
I think,
your development team?
yeah, which is fair. I was about to clarify IT and development, but yes,
Yeah.
um, I think what I'm believing over the period of time, the lines are going to get more blurred. That's
Mm-hmm.
what's going to happen. What we are going to see is what we used to call in the past, you are a frontline manager and you're a people manager. I think frontline managers are going to become more technical managers also. That's what we're going to see. And what we are going to see is human in the loop is always, you need that, because we heard recently many cases, one system went and purged the database, some outage happened here.
Mm-hmm.
So organizational structures are going to evolve as the technology going to evolve over the period of time. We are very much focused into adapting the technology at this time, and
Mm-hmm.
I feel organizational structure is going to follow in
Yeah.
coming months.
I think there's a real interesting change coming in the future about who gets to participate in product innovation.
That's right.
And how they do it, right? The legacy way of doing it, right? Working through product managers and product owners and designers, and then going through all these steps and processes. Well, still very important. I think is going to be dramatically shortened, and make it so much faster to deliver things.
My only part, Chris, where I agree with your statement wholeheartedly. I think what we also need to think about the world, if everyone gonna continue to do at the same pace. And I was having this discussion few weeks back. I was at Berkeley because I went to school at Berkeley, so we were having a group, and I was discussing what we need to also address is, when you are building these products and the features at the faster pace,
Mm-hmm.
the end consumer, whomsoever consuming it, are they ready with the pace of consuming also?
That's a great point.
So
We
I
could we
think,
we could overwhelm the consumer with the changes that we want to make, and they can make them too quickly.
and what we, I think what we are not, so today, because this is new to us, we are moving fast. But what I'm saying is consume, and when I say consumer, is the end consumer of your product and feature.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter what you build, at what speed and pace they are willing to change. Because what you and me know, cognitive load on humans with the changes is not that easy. Because
Mm-hmm.
if I'm showing you a screen and if I start changing your screen every day, Chris, you're gonna hate me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So keep that in mind
Especially
also.
the typical consumer of a community bank or a credit union, right?
Exactly, exactly, exactly.
The Snapchat generation is completely different. Like they could change something for them every day, I would think.
Yeah, because that's a different ball game altogether. But think about, you're driving your Tesla, and every day, man, your screen is changing. You're gonna say, "Hey, dude, let me drive. My job is to drive."
Yeah.
Why you're
Turn it
doing
off,
it?
turn it off, turn it off,
Turn
turn it
it
off.
off.
So, tell me about how you talked about kind of the the SDK that you have today and the opportunity to be able to connect new things and test them quickly and do that, right? How important is that to an institution who's
Yeah,
determining, what their own digital transformation
yeah,
path looks like,
yeah,
right? Talk to me a
yeah.
little bit about what that enables.
Sure, sure. So I think our CEO Alex Shootman always talks about, in digital banking there are digital twin. Like, there are three phases of the transformation. Let me explain. First, it started with the digital twin.
Mm-hmm.
What is happening in the branch? Can I do it in a mobile app? So that's the digital twin, right?
Mm-hmm.
Remember the days you and me used to go to AAA office to get the maps, and then MapQuest came, and then those devices came. So I call all of this digital twin. What you do manually, now you're doing digital.
Right.
Then the second phase came. Oh, now I can do this on a mobile app, but I want a better user experience.
Mm-hmm.
So then we entered into the phase of everyone is fighting the space for the better user experience because everyone needs simpler, easier things to do. Then the
Yeah.
third phase came, which is I call as a Spotify phase now, is hey, can you know more about me before I know
Mm.
about me? So now every day Spotify tells me, hey, it is your morning gym time. Listen to this music. And
Mm-hmm.
man, 100% of the time Spotify is right. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So what we are now seeing is financial institutions are coming to the point because digital transformation, everyone carries the mobile device and everyone has their bank account and bank app on their phone now. So I think the part what they're trying to say, okay, how I am different than you
Mm.
when you compare the financial institution. And that drive to be different creates an opportunity where I want my look and feel to be different. I want my
Mm.
experience to be different. I want my experience to be unique. And this is what we do is we say, we give you the platform, we give you the SDK, go and change the way you want to do it.
Mm.
And that enablement is critical for us because at the end of the day, I work with this financial institution because there is a reason behind it, right? When you look into the credit unions, Chris, and I have traveled into many credit union branches in the rural area, they have a personal relationship
Mm-hmm.
with those credit union and the branches. I was in one of the branch and someone showed up there and that person said, oh, I just come every day here to say hello,
Yeah.
right? So, and even so, what I'm saying is they want to bring that kind of their own persona into the digital devices. And I think this is what we want to bring the platform where can we bridge the gap between online and offline.
Mm.
That to me is, I started to do something at home. It is like, Netflix. Yesterday, I was traveling from Dallas. I started watching some series. Then I'm on Uber, I'm watching it. Then I'm on a plane, I'm watching it. So,
Mm-hmm.
can I switch the context and I continue my journey? So, what we want to build the platform, hello, customers, you can start online, you can finish offline.
Mm-hmm.
You can start offline, you can finish online. So I think the marriage of online and offline using the extensibility is the one bridge which I want to bring it together.
It's super interesting because extensibility used to mean, and maybe it still does in your definition, right? I want to be able to connect to my partners of choice, right?
Mhm.
But you guys have extended that model, right? Because what you've said is, hey, we're going to go out and acquire segment so that now we can better understand the consumer, right? We can understand their transactions. We can understand what they want. We're going to go out and acquire mantle so we can build that unified experience that you're looking for, right?
Yeah.
Is best of breed dead? And now we're looking for the best of the best leaders like Alkami to come together and build those inclusive experiences.
That's true. And I think there are three principles what we announced during our collab. The first is journey based.
Mm.
We want to make sure that consumers or customers are getting the work done based on the journey what they take on the digital online and offline we are talking. The second one is the data informed, like the data plays a critical role. But the third principle, which is very interesting, what we have put together is open architecture.
Mm.
We want it to be an open architecture where plug and play can become the part of it.
Mm. Still giving them, allowing them to deep dive with you on a variety of services, but if they still want to choose something, else or something in addition to that, they have the easy ability to be able to include
Exactly.
that. Okay.
Exactly.
How does that how does an organization avoid kind of vendor sprawl when that happens, right? Because maybe I have a small minority of my customers or my members who are using this service. I've got one over here and one over there. Like, do you think that's a problem? How do you help solve that?
See, what I have seen in my career, this is an interesting topic. So what happens is every organization have sub-organization. I'm a risk, I'm IT, I'm legal, I'm marketing and all those things.
Mm-hmm.
So when they go and pick a specific vendor at that moment of time, they pick the vendor based on the need what they have.
Mm-hmm.
But then what happens is that that vendor over the period of time start entering into the other areas also. So we, where, oh, I have built this new functionality, but then I'm in marketing. I picked one tool, but now that same tool is expanding the footprint into some other area.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens over the period of time, what I have seen, the philosophy of land and expand, where you land and then they say, oh, listen, you know I can do this for you and you're going to pay minimum. And then
Mm-hmm.
the two teams together and say, let's put our budget together and pay it here. But then what they realized after 1 year, they are paying more as compared to what they were paying earlier, and now they're in a box, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I think my belief is decentralization and centralization have pros and cons in both the approaches.
Mm-hmm.
If you centralize, you're going to slow. If you
Mm-hmm.
decentralize, you're going to go fast. But then you're going to go cost of sparring because now you have this.
Yep.
And this is where I think company like Alchemy can come in the middle in the digital banking and enable you to integrate the third parties, and then we give you the data back and you can decide. So I think that's where I feel the play can be, because where, Chris, I always struggle is when is centralization good, when the decentralization is good. That's the challenge that we face.
Right. Right. What do you think? So if I asked you to put your, your future looking hat on, right? What do you think AI native digital banking looks like in 5 years?
It's a very, I think the way I look into is AI digital banking is going to become my assistant and agent on my device.
Mm.
And I will start and say, hey, today I transfer $500 from my checking to saving. The agent is there listening to my instructions, integrated with my agents are integrated with
Mm.
my device bank accounts. It will do everything and it will come back and say, the money got transferred. Okay, then I will say, oh, I need to pay $500 to this friend of mine. Can
Mm-hmm.
you transfer this number? So I think the way I see the future is it's a conversation. I'm doing it with my agent, which is connected with my diverse set of portfolio. An agent is smart enough to discover, plan, and execute what I want to
Mm.
do without me trying to figure it out, all the logistics. Oh my, this much money is on this account, this much money on this account. Oh my god, I'm running out of credit card payment and I need to move
Right.
money. So that's what I think is going to simplify, and I as a consumer will have a better control over my efficiency and my productivity.
So it'll move away from a visual interface to one that's speech based.
I think it is going to be speech based, dialogue based. It can be, it depends, but yes, you can still log into your visual based,
Mm-hmm.
and but your visual is still interactive with you. And
Ah,
like, so that's what I think, because identity and authentication, those are the things you still, humans are not there yet to give it to, hey agent, here is my credentials for the Wells Fargo, just do it.
yeah.
Tomorrow they will learn how to talk to each other and my money is gone. So I would rather control something. It is like in 2018, Facebook came up with the two machines and they reinvented their own language and they
Right.
had to shut down. Are you aware of that
I am
situation,
aware of
right?
that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
So
it's a
uh,
fascinating story.
it's fascinating
Yeah.
that I don't want to have then tomorrow these machines learn and say, oh, I can get P2P money transfer from Deep account to your account.
I just found the money to build the Terminators.
There you go. I
Start making
love
transfers.
that. I love that. I love that.
So let me ask you, if you were a CEO today, right, knowing that this is the future that's coming, if you're a CEO today, how would you approach preparing for that future
Yeah.
so that you weren't, so many times these horizons that have come, right, be it cloud, digital, each of these that
Yeah.
has come, we have some institutions that are a little slow to get there, right? If you're the CEO, how are you going to get ready for that future today?
Yeah. I think, yeah, it might be a little too late for me to become the CEO now, but you know, let's say that I wear the hat because I'm a business person. I think the first thing is your organization and is your leadership ready for that change or not? I think that's the biggest challenge. What I see is people are still not ready and there is a lot of resistance there. So I think the first and the foremost is bring your people on board because this
Mm-hmm.
change is imminent. We like it, we hate it, whatever it is, this change is coming. So we need to first acknowledge and embrace that we need to get. That's number one. Number
Mm-hmm.
two, don't continue to operate with the traditional way of thinking, the school which have taught us crawl, walk, run. Chris, what I'm seeing is there's no one crawling nowadays, man.
I know.
People are just going from walk to run so fast. So remove the old way of thinking and
Hmm.
think you are doing it fresh. And maybe you still need to run directly rather than crawl, walk. So
Hmm.
willing to take the risk on the running phase. That's the second thing what I will say. And third is create little space in your balance sheet to spend some money on tokens because the token currency is becoming so hot at this time, you know. So, but if you don't spend money at this time, you won't learn what is your potential and what. So, I
Mm-hmm.
think create some space in the balance sheet. And fourth is, which is important, focus on the use case, which are the effective pain points in your organization to show the value. So that's the way I put it, Chris.
Yeah. Now you're going to have to explain for some of our listeners. You're going to have to explain what you mean by tokens. So,
Yeah, let me. What we see, there are all this Claude and OpenAI and all, they have multiple models, LLM models. Okay. 90% of the time, one model can give you whatever you need
mhm,
and is the cheap. But what happens is none of those model providers are telling Chris or Deep, hey, for this query, I'm going to automatically optimize which model to use.
mhm.
So what happens is I'm talking with Chris, hey, Deep, have you heard about Opus 4.6?
Sure
Oh,
you
yeah, I
have.
did. I go and default make it Opus 4.6. And
Yeah.
God bless, now all my tokens are getting amplified and boom, done.
Gone.
Done. Right?
Yep.
So, and next day my finance person come and said, hey, where are you spending money? Oh,
Yep.
I'm using Opus 4.6. Oh, but you should be using Sonnet 4.2 because that gives you the same result. Oh, I didn't
Right.
knew that. Right? So I think the token currency is where at Alchemy, we are building the governance and some kind of a
Mm.
rigor around it and building the skills. Hey guys, you need to use this kind of a things. Majority of your things can be addressed by this,
Mm-hmm.
right? And what it's CTO of Uber recently, there was an article got published. Man, the budget he allocated for 2026 got wiped up by April, right?
Mm-hmm.
It because so token currency is the same thing is where if you're not watching what you're doing, and
Right.
I believe 80% of the work we do it on a day-to-day basis can be handled by the models what but we don't need the research models. So that's what I meant by the token currency here.
Right. Yeah. Is there are you thinking about it from the perspective of that different roles inside Alkami will have different token budgets, right?
Yeah, we do.
Junior
We do.
developer is 100
That's right.
tokens. Senior developer is 300 tokens,
Yeah.
something like that.
You nailed it. I was in Dallas yesterday. That's exactly what I was conversation having with my finance partner,
Mm-hmm.
and what we are calling as the tier-based model,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's I'm a junior developer. I'm doing my day-to-day job. You need this much, and you can do it. I'm a senior developer where I'm doing more of an architecture, the research project I have to
Yeah.
design. You get this much. I'm a principal engineer. So yes, I think that's also the kind of the governance that what we are trying to put into a place. But also at the same time, I want to keep some flexibility because I want everyone to challenge the limit a little bit. And when I
Mm-hmm.
say challenge the limit, not the limit of the token, the limit of the creativity,
Yeah.
right? And when you challenge the limit of the creativity, I'm willing to take little hit on the token
Mm-hmm.
if my innovation can be amplified at the faster pace.
Yeah. Yeah. You might argue that the bigger sin is not using any tokens,
Yeah, I
right?
agree. I agree.
So you dated yourself, and by the same token dated me, using token, by the same token you dated me, talking about triptychs, right? So we have lived through a variety of these kind of technological advancements, right? The web, the cloud, mobile, we've seen it time and time again. Now we've got AI. What do you think is genuinely different about this technological change than the
Yeah,
others that came before it?
I think we forget where we come from. Do you remember the days when internet came? The DARPA came up with the internet for a very different reason.
Mm-hmm.
And now we don't even think about that internet is part of our life.
You know.
And man, in my family, if internet down for 2 minutes, everyone run around like family is dead, right? Then do you remember we used to live without those mobile devices, and I used
Mm-hmm.
to calls making, and now you and me just carry those devices.
Yep.
And what happened is innovation for last 10, 12 years after the financial meltdown which happened in 2009 was slowed down drastically.
Mm-hmm.
Then came pandemic where it's different kind of innovation. How do we work from home and all those things? AI is not a new technology. It has been models have been talked about for decades since I have seen. So what changed? What changed, Chris? This technology came so fast, an average consumer can relate to it very easily now.
Hmm.
My wife is a school teacher. She's not a technologist. Man, I sit at home talk about technology. She says, "Shut up, don't talk to me technology." Now she comes and tells me how she's using Gemini to create a report card.
Mm-hmm.
So I think what changed is it came like tsunami, but
Mm-hmm.
average consumer or average human being able to relate to it. And
Mm-hmm.
that is the big shift what we are seeing. That,
That's a great point. It is
yeah,
very different in that way,
very
right?
different.
So excellent. Well, listen, Deep, I really appreciate you joining me today. This has been a phenomenal discussion. If somebody's interested in learning more about Alkami, I mean, they can go to alkami.com. Is there anything else they should do to find out more?
Yes, I think alchemy.com, you're gonna surf there. The other thing is Claude or other AI platform. Just go and say, "Hey, tell me more about alchemy." You will see all those things. That's a good prompt, which I'm giving it to everyone. Um, Google AI. So I think it's learn more
Yeah.
about alchemy. Definitely, we are doing a lot of creative, innovative things, and you're gonna find us with the right prompts or with the right website.
Excellent. 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 Well, thank you very much for joining me today.
Yeah, thank you, Chris. Thanks for having me. It was a great conversation, man.
That was a wonderful discussion. Deep, thank you very much for joining us today. If you like this content, please like and subscribe on your platform of choice. Thank you for being here. We will see you next time.